Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unfucking Your CX. I'm your host, Zack Hamilton. You all know that. And quite frankly, you don't give a shit. What you care about is who's in the hot seat and what are you learning about today. And I am super excited because so far, all of our guests have come from either the US, North America, I should say, or Europe. And now we have a CX leader coming to us from South America. And if you cannot tell, Fernando is in Buenos Aires and it is beautiful as hell. So, Fernando, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you, Zach. Welcome to South America, Argentina.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I just can't get over, your background and how amazing, it looks. But Fernando, before we jump into that one topic that makes you cringe, set the scene for us. Where are we having this conversation? Because these conversations don't just come up, they happen, right? So we're either at your favorite local coffee shop, a favorite pub, having a beer, maybe we're on a walk, or heck, maybe we're just sitting on your balcony.
Yeah, I'm in my favorite home, my home in Buenos Aires. We are in Belgrano. It's a part of Buenos Aires. And as you can see, there's a lot of green, so I love it.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And all of our listeners, if you're on YouTube or Spotify, you'll be able to see it as well because it'll be video. But Fernando, look, you are a true expert in customer experience. You have a lot of just not just experience, but knowledge. What is one topic that you just see that continuously makes you cringe
Yeah, Zach.
that you want to unfuck today?
Yeah, thank you. There are many, but one of them that really makes me cringe is a lack of empathy with the C-suite between us, we CX pros, and the C-suite, especially the CEO and the CFO. Honestly, I think we often live in our own bubble. I think that maybe we are right there with the customer, we are next to the customer, but we are totally disconnected from the many big strategic calls, product roadmaps, promotions, competitive plays, you name it, no? And sure, everyone says that they're customer-centric, but I don't know, few walk the talk. And I think it's a two-way street, and we have in CX a lot of work to do. We don't always do a great job of putting ourselves in the CEO's shoes, getting what keeps them up at night, what drives them, and how they view the company's value, especially in the lens of the investors or the owners, no, that they are our bosses and their bosses. So I think most of us don't really dig into, for example, financial and commercial habit of a business. Now maybe I don't know, top management is not always perfect at prioritizing customer centricity as the main issue. But if we truly believe in that and we want to succeed, well, I think it's really important to put on their shoes, understand them. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this topic, Fernando. And here's the reason why I love this topic is I'm with you. I think CEX leaders need to get in the trenches and they need to be listening to their earnings calls. They need to be reading their 10Ks. I was just recently on a coaching call with a CX leader and I asked them, "Hey, when was the last time you read your company's 10K?" And they've never read it.
Yeah.
Like, how are you even going to drive? I mean, customer centricity starts with understanding how your business operates. So if you don't know how the business operates, how are you going to try and influence it with a customer centric strategy?
Yeah, really, and it's like talking a different language. No, I sometimes I try to put in the shoes of CEO, and They are many times worried about the value of the company, how investors would analyze the quarterly calls and this kind of stuff. And I don't know, we are maybe not mentioning anything regarding the money, the cost, the investment, the productivity. So we have to accept that there is a lot of kind of smoke in the CX world and connect at least with the financial, with the figures, the basic figures of the company. It's a must.
Yeah, and to me, I think the other piece is I loved how you explained as CX leaders, we've got to really understand what keeps our execs up at night. We have to understand, what are their strategic priorities? Where are they giving all their attention to? And
Yeah,
that's how you start to, and once you start to translate customer to business, your CEO and CFO start to understand.
yeah, yeah. It's like we are so obsessed, and it's okay to have empathy with the customer that many times we forget everything else. No, we have to succeed. We have to be very good influencers inside the company, and maybe it's like going to a different place and not being seen as the ones that uh, I don't know, only love the customers and want the other departments to teach them what they have to do and what they don't have to do. I think many times we have a kind of this bubble, uh, maybe put us in kind of a lab and a lot of analytics, but many of these information, data, and point of views doesn't come out of our own lab. No?
Yeah, so spot on there. So, Fernando, let's think about this, right? The topic that you want to unfuck is really around the empathy, right? Empathy for the C suite, empathy for the CX leader. What's the first player tip where us as CX leaders can start to build empathy for the C suite?
Yeah, one of the first clear tips I would say is well, first of all, engage them rationally. You remember now the show me the money thing. I think we have to frame every CX idea as an investment, not as an expense. And when we pitch any initiative, we have to lead with hard numbers, no? Projected revenue, churn, savings, even a simple break-even timeline. I know. To talk about figures, I think, and before that, maybe we have to learn about finance just a bit. I don't telling you we have to be like CFOs, but I think that the P&L, the language of a P&L must be crystal clear for us. Well, I think that's one important thing to begin with.
I love that tip. I mean, ultimately, I even share, look, our CEOs, our CFOs, they don't speak customer experience. They don't speak text analytics. They don't speak NPS. Quite frankly, they don't even know how to calculate it. They speak P&L. And so it's our role and responsibility to influence them by connecting the dots between what our customers are telling us and how it's impacting the P&L. Couldn't say it any better. Fernando, what's player tip number two?
Yeah. Well, to complete that, we also have to engage emotionally. It's very important, and not to forget that once we did that move, the first move, I think sometimes rationality doesn't work. It has its point, obviously, but emotions are emotions, and you know, most of our decisions, even the CEO and the C-suite, are kind of emotionally, you know. So I have one specific thing that happened to me that I always remember. Because we first started, I was working as a CX leader in a telco, and well, we were experiencing many troubles. You know, this happens in many of the telcos. You know, the average NPS of the telcos are the lowers are lower than many of the other industries. And I remember that we have some specific issue when the customer were having some technical problem. Well, we tried to solve that, but the issue was with the billing. So if they didn't have the service for many days, well, the idea is not to bill them for that. The thing was that at that time, to do that, it was reactive. No? So the customer had to call us and say, okay, guys, I had 3 days without the service, so please avoid billing that to me. And it was kind of bad profit, because most of the customers didn't call, they didn't know. And we went with the first tip in that case. We made kind of business case explaining what will happen, that it would be very good for a company to stop billing that kind of charges and to change and do it proactively. And we didn't have a no, but we didn't have a yes. So it was kind of forgotten now. And we asked many times, okay, we are analyzing it and this kind of stuff. And so we try engage this topic too, and I remember we were in a meeting with all the managers and directors of the company, and we just played a record of one call of a customer that was really, really angry with us and called us. I can't describe that. And because of that issue. And when the CEO listened to that, he said, no, it can be possible. We can be doing that to our customers. No, it was like really touchy. And just in 1 minute, we saw that. He gave the order to change this policy. And well, it was really, really solved. So it was really a good learning for us. It's okay with the numbers, but not always the numbers are going to solve everything.
Yeah, I love that example where even if you frame, customer feedback into problem statements, again, it might cause an issue on the P&L, but to your point, maybe it's not that it's not worth it, but to the P&L, there's so many other things that are getting prioritized that this one just doesn't get prioritized. And so I love how you brought in kind of that example of, let us give you the empathy behind that customer. Let us tell you the whole story. Let me use all of my customer data and feedback. And I love how you played that specific call so where they could really hear, right, the emotion of the customer. And I'm sure you had many others that one policy caused. But it reminds me, I think I've mentioned this a few times on the podcast. You think about T-Mobile and T-Mobile's uncarrier strategy. It was all derived out of John Legere listening for an hour a day of calls coming in the contact center.
Yeah, yeah. There are many, many stories like that. But for me, it's like we put them in a situation in which, okay, you can avoid this issue. You can avoid that. And you really, well, they really felt like they were thieves, no? And confront them with that, I think it was really straightforward. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like it. What's player tip number 3, Fernando?
Well, the number three is maybe a bit tactic, but it helped me a lot in many situations in my career and also in our consultancy with other CX areas or departments of different companies. I see it's related to churn, attrition, or whatever. Many CX departments they don't have many things to do with the figures of the company. They don't get involved with the churn management, and I mean with that to understand profoundly the churn, to predict the churn, to understand the root causes that many times we are always talking about the NPS, the NPS, the NPS, and it's all right. But the churn is right now. The NPS is a good prediction of the future of the company, maybe. And it also connects with the finance and the results and the P&L. And you can show really strong impact with your measures. And many times it's kind of an abandoned area.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, quite frankly, the one I think I would challenge back though is around NPS of if NPS was such a great indicator of the health of the business, then why is there so much silent churn that it's happening? Right. But I'm with you. If you think about this has all been around how do we empathize with our executive leadership team? Well, there's two things that they care the most about. How do we grow the business? And then how do we protect the business?
Yeah.
And protecting the business is how do we keep our current customers in our portfolio? Because they are lower cost to serve, they're lower cost to acquire, right? Because we've already paid to acquire them. If I keep churning and they're
Mhm.
not coming back and spending more, and their customer lifetime value is decreasing, well, then I have to increase, my investments for marketing to go acquire new customers. So customer acquisition cost continues to increase. And
Yeah.
so I'm with you. It's really about if I can focus on one thing, it's how can I significantly reduce customer churn, but two, educate the C-suite on where their blind spots are when it
Yeah.
comes to customer churn. And that's the whole root cause analysis that you just mentioned. But Fernando, I'm curious, like I see it all the time. CX practitioners struggle doing a root cause analysis. How do you do that? Like maybe this is a fourth bonus player tip, but what's the easiest way to do a root cause analysis?
Yeah, I think the main thing regarding that is to experience by yourself, to talk to the agents, to listen to the calls, to understand the system and all. Many times the root cause analysis is done by just taking the feedback that maybe the agents just put into the system, but not talking to them. Many times they really I don't know, they are pressured by many calls and they can do a good job of maybe understanding profoundly what's happening there. No? Many these people is moving and they are not asking maybe the 5 why questions. No? That is maybe a good tool to understand profoundly what's happening behind that.
Yeah, a simple why root cause analysis to your point
Yeah,
is it can just reveal so much.
so much.
This has been absolutely incredible. Thank you for joining us in the hot seat. If any of our listeners want to, engage with you, follow up with you to ask questions, where can they find you?
Yeah, well, they can find me in LinkedIn on one hand, and my consultancy firm is minddx.com, so they can find us there also. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Fernando, again, thank you so much for coming to the hot seat and sharing your own experiences. Please hurry back. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you very
Cheers.
much. Very pleased to be here with you.